In the early hours of Sunday, residents in Kyiv and across Ukraine were woken by a symphony of sirens, the prelude to a ferocious offensive. More than 800 drones, including Iranian-made Shahed models and decoys, accompanied by a volley of 13 missiles, pierced the night sky. According to Ukraine's Air Force, this assault was unmatched in scale, surpassing the previous record set in July with 728 drones launched in a single operation. Ukrainian defenses managed to intercept 747 drones and 4 missiles, but the overwhelming barrage allowed nearly 60 drones and 9 missiles to strike their targets. Fires erupted in the iconic government district of Kyiv. Residential buildings and critical infrastructure bore the brunt of the blows. The cabinet building, the government's operational nerve center, was hit for the first time in 3 years of conflict, marking a chilling new phase. The cost of war, as always, weighed heaviest on civilians. At least 4 people were killed in this one night, including a 1-year-old infant, and 44 more suffered injuries. The attack stretched for 11 relentless hours, with Kyiv's population forced into shelters, bravely enduring the uncertainty and fear. Emergency services swiftly responded. Fire crews battling blazes in government offices and high-rise residences. Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko, sharing a video from inside the damaged cabinet building, highlighted that a fire covering hundreds of square meters had finally been extinguished. Across the nation, the destruction spanned 33 separate locations. President Volodymyr Zelensky, visibly shaken but resolute, called for increased support from Ukraine's Western allies and asked for urgent strengthening of air defenses. This attack came at a strategic juncture. Global efforts to negotiate a peace agreement are losing momentum. Within the White House, frustration is mounting. President Donald Trump attended last month's summit in Alaska with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Yet the meeting concluded without any substantial agreements, leaving questions about future diplomacy hanging in the air. Trump hinted at stronger sanctions, but stopped short of immediate, concrete measures. Zelensky, in frequent contact with European counterparts, stressed the need for a united front and new defensive measures, notably speaking with French President Emmanuel Macron after the attacks. Russia's official line remained unchanged, with the Defense Ministry asserting that only military targets, assembly sites, air bases, industrial plants, and logistics hubs were struck. They denied intentionally targeting civilians or other facilities in Kyiv, a claim increasingly at odds with on-ground realities. The statistics alone tell a story of escalation. Russia deployed over 800 drones, an unprecedented number, indicating not just intent to overwhelm air defenses, but also the evolving sophistication of drone warfare. The use of Iranian Shahed drones underlines Tehran's continuing role in supplying Russia with advanced unmanned platforms. Drones and decoys are being used to saturate defenses, forcing Ukraine to expend precious interceptors and resources. The attack also featured cruise and ballistic missiles, complicating defensive strategies and targeting a mix of residential and state assets. Ukrainian air defenses performed admirably, but the sheer volume of attacking drones and missiles meant that complete protection was not possible. Western analysts now warn of possible escalations, with Russia demonstrating its ability to mass-produce and deploy hundreds of drones in a single wave. Drone warfare, once seen as a tool for targeted operations, has become Russia's weapon of mass terror. By leveraging both numbers and unpredictability, Moscow intends not just to destroy, but to exhaust, battering Ukrainian resilience and Western resolve. Attacks spanned multiple cities: Zaporizhzhia, Sumy, Chernihiv, Dnipro, Kremenchuk, and Odessa, illustrating Russia's capability to coordinate simultaneous strikes across vast territory. Civilian infrastructure, from high-rise buildings to vital logistics hubs, was deliberately targeted. These strikes aim to disrupt daily life and undermine confidence in government protection. Russia's shift to directly attacking the cabinet building intensifies psychological warfare, sending an unmistakable message to Ukraine's leadership and its allies. In the aftermath, international condemnation was swift. Western governments renewed calls for tougher sanctions and increased military support. Zelensky's appeals for advanced air defense systems have taken on new urgency. The European Union and NATO reaffirmed commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty, but division remains over direct military involvement. 26 nations pledged to deploy reassurance forces after the conflict, yet boots on the ground remain a distant possibility. Meanwhile, Russia maintains a defensive posture, claiming success in intercepting over 100 Ukrainian drones over Russian territory that same night. Minor fires and casualties are reported, but Moscow denies this is retaliation for Western aid or Ukrainian advances. Beyond the politics and the headlines are the lives torn apart. Kyiv's population has displayed remarkable courage, navigating the perpetual threat of attack, families now forced to reconsider safety and routine. Emergency services, firefighters, medics, and ordinary citizens have banded together amid chaos, embodying the spirit of resilience that has defined Ukraine throughout the war. Stories emerge of parents shielding children, of neighbors sharing supplies in community shelters. Aid organizations scramble to provide psychological support as trauma accumulates from repeated large-scale attacks. As military tactics evolve, so do alliances and rivalries. Russia's continued use of Iranian drones and the lack of international consensus on stemming the flow of such technology shows the shifting sands of global power. The war in Ukraine has become a test not just for Europe, but for the entire international order. China's muted response contrasts with Europe's outcry, while U.S. policymakers debate the limits of engagement. Geopolitical analysts warn that unchecked escalation in Ukraine could spark new crises elsewhere, especially given increasing ties between Russia and other authoritarian states. Hope for peace remains, but in the shadow of drone swarms and shattered buildings, Ukraine, its allies, and the world at large confront hard choices. Zelensky and Western leaders continue to push for negotiations, but Russia's uncompromising stance and ever deadlier tactics leave little room for optimism. Sanctions may intensify, but their efficacy depends on global unity. Negotiations, if they restart, face high hurdles after Russia's latest show of force. The future of drone warfare, its proliferation and devastating potential, may force new approaches to defense and diplomacy worldwide. As darkness falls over Kyiv and the world watches, the struggle for Ukraine continues to shape the 21st century's geopolitical landscape. In the aftermath of the largest air attack yet, the imminent priority is safeguarding lives and preserving hope. Only through international resolve and relentless pursuit of peace can tomorrow be brighter than today. Thank you for joining this analysis. Subscribe for more deep dives into the conflicts and crises that matter. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's stand together for peace.